Team Awesome is back!
That's right, Team Awesome is back. It is time for Tangled Talk once again, and today's episode is Islands Apart. Today's episode is directed by Philip Pignotti. It's written by Leanna Dindal. The storyboards are Jerry Yu Ching, Ben Choi, and Anthony Mizzotta. And we begin in Rapunzel's bedroom, where she's sitting with Frederick, showing him various pages of her journal, willingly, with her consent.
Woo! Good job! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! I was like, woo! He's not just looking through it. They're going through it together.
Yeah, she's
showing
actually
him
showing
pages
it to him.
that are relevant to him.
Yeah, I love that.
This is great.
They're reviewing some of Fred's previous moments in an effort to help him regain his memories. He recognizes her coronation and when he and Eugene stole Trevor Jr. and he got the royal seal pun for the first time ever. He also recalls the season 1 finale. Rapunzel remarks that this is the moment that she broke through the corona wall, but Fred says that it's when he realized how much of a strong and independent woman she's become. So, like, season 3 Frederick is so much better than season 1 Frederick.
Mm-hmm.
As, like,
Fred.
He just needed his memory wiped.
Yeah,
I'm like, this
Like,
is
so
great.
much better.
Don't ever give me season 1 Fred ever again. I will throw him in the dumpster. I will karate chop him in the face.
I remember specifically when season 3 was about to start, and Chris said something along the lines of, so I know that, like, Fred's been getting a lot of flack, but...
He said, I know a lot of you have beef with Fred.
It's like, yeah, I like season 3 Fred so much better.
That was so funny. It was on that live stream he did with Ricky. He was like, I know you guys have a lot of beef with Fred. And I was like, yeah, we do.
That's right, that was from D23. That's right. And also, we were guessing that this means that Fred and Ariana are forever changed by their memory erasure. So, like, maybe Ariana's a little bit more go-get-him now, and Frederick's just kind of nicer, more cheerful now than he was. So it's like...
It's honestly the best we could have asked for.
It really is, you know? It's like, oh, yay! You know what it's like? Honestly, it's like their trauma was erased.
Yeah.
So it's like, it happened, but they don't feel it anymore. And
Yeah.
so it's much happier people now, you know? I mean, I assume, considering we haven't seen Ariana since then, but hopefully...
Sure hope we do soon.
I mean, you mean, like, maybe for her future son-in-law's birthday?
Yeah, mate. Oh my god. Oh god. I'm not ready.
Yeah, no. I keep thinking about it, and then I'm like, no, stop.
I know.
I'm already crying about enough things.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not well, I shouldn't say I'm not depressed, but I'm not crying because of depression. I'm crying because of other, like, nerdy things. Like D&D, and also Clone Wars. Oh my god! I'm so excited. I laid in my bed.
Completely tangential and Tangled, guys. I watched Star Wars Rebels for the first time and finished it the other day, and so now I'm like, Kaden! So yeah, don't mind me.
Oh my god. And literally this morning, I got on Twitter. The first thing I saw was that the new trailer had dropped. I watched it. I was like, wait a minute. Is that who I think it is? And I was like, yep, that's Kanan's master. So that little stinker next to her must be Kanan. And then I literally started crying. I was laying in bed sobbing.
So back to our show. So Rapunzel is so happy to have her parents back, and Fred thanks her for restoring his memories and sticking with them, both he and Ariana, throughout this whole process, saying family sticks together, right? Just then, Eugene bursts into the room, upset with Lance, who has the audacity to not only borrow his moisturizer, but he has left the lid off, drying it out. As he's explaining this, Owl comes swooping in behind him and smacks into the window. Rapunzel gasps, and Eugene, still thinking they are discussing his problem, assures her that everything is all right because he has a backup bottle.
He's such a goober.
He has to, like, absolutely rant about this stuff that he's like, oh, don't worry, I've got a backup. I'm like, so you're not actually mad, you're just mad. So you just had to get that out, didn't you? So Rapunzel runs to the window and picks up Owl, asking him where he's been and if he's okay. She also wonders that if he's here, does that mean that Cassandra is back? As she asks Owl where Cassandra is, the exhausted bird drops something into Rapunzel's hand. It's the core of a pompion fruit. And if y'all remember, the pompion fruit is like the peppers from the Lorabi Island, which also has a name, Lorabi.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I love about this is it's like, they're like, okay, so we know we said the name of the island once, and we know we said the name of the fruit once, so we're going to say them a couple more times so that people remember that the names. And yet they still call it the Lorabi Island, you know?
You know who knows? Me. because I do the names list. Don't ever question me again, Disney.
Somebody actually asked me the other day how something was spelled, and I knew the answer, but I double-checked the list just to be sure. Like, I reference that list all the time.
It's thoroughly fact-checked.
Yeah, it's thoroughly fact-checked.
Anytime I'm like, is this how I actually spell something? Because I don't know if the CC is crazy or anything. I usually ask Ricky, so...
Yeah, like, how is this actually spelled?
Fact-checked by Ricky, so there you go. Not everything, but most things, yes.
With a sigh, Rapunzel declares that they are going back to Lorabi Island, home of the Lorbs. We cut to Pascal riding on Owl's back as they fly alongside Rapunzel and Eugene, who are in a Sapporian hot air balloon. I love how they're just like, we're just gonna like use these all the time now. Like, you took over our kingdom, we're gonna steal your air balloons. That's just how it works.
I love that Eugene got to steer.
I to steer.
And he
As they
didn't
fly,
crash
Eugene
it.
asks Rapunzel if she really thinks Cass would go back to the island. After listening to all the terrible things the island has to offer, Eugene realizes that it may actually be the perfect fit for her. Even though it might not be concrete, this is their only lead on Cass's whereabouts since she disappeared months ago. So now we have a bit of a timeline that we now know it's been months. See, like, season 3 is it's not just going fast by the fans, it's going fast in, like, in-world time also. So Rapunzel is determined to follow said lead, even if it doesn't produce Cassandra. She's also excited to see Alphonse and the other Lorbs again. Not sure why, but yeah. All right, the little leaf guys. You think we're superheroes? Who think they're superior to humans? They're a delight. Eugene is just full of him and his one-liners. I love his one-liners. This episode in general is like, it's so dramatic and so funny at the same time. It's just like, wow. Arriving at the island, they touch down just outside the Lorb village, but it appears to be deserted. Eugene remarks that it is too quiet, and as he does, a cockatoo caws, scaring him. So, I don't know if anybody thought it was weird, but as they walk away and the scene changes, they show the bird once more. Is this bird?
Like,
yeah, I'm like, is it important?
The bird important? Like, I was like, is it?
Or was it just for like continuity, or just like, yeah?
Maybe it's Matthews. Like, that's what I said. I said that bird is Matthews.
Yeah, I had that thought too. I was like, well, it kind of like, does the father bird look like that? I can't ever remember.
Like
father bird
a little bit.
Kind of a similar kind, but like his face has a lot more personality.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean it's the same kind of cockatoo, but
it was just really random. Like it.
Yeah, it's like
But I was like, why are they showing this rando bird twice?
I was so upset that I was wrong about Matthews. Like, I'm like, no. I was really hoping for Matthews.
Maybe he was that bird.
Maybe he was that bird.
Never know.
So as they continue calling out for the Lorbs, they hear a rustling, and one runs past them. They quickly give chase, calling out for them to stop, but the Lorb continues to run. Finally, they find the Lorb hiding behind a small leaf and poke them. They're afraid that these wild Freinfloofers will hurt them, but Rapunzel is confused. Don't you recognize us? Nope. Apparently all Freinfloofer looks the same to them. And also except for to Alphonse, apparently. But Rapunzel wonders if this new one could be Cass, but as they enter a Lorb party, the Lorb leading them there remarks that you can tell the new one apart from other Freinfloofers because of his mustache. Eugene and Rapunzel are both confused by this until they see the captain of the guards at the back of a Lorb conga line. Cap sees them and happily dances over to them, embracing them both in a big bear hug. After releasing them, he does the same little dance that Lance and Hookfoot did in one of the Island episodes.
That's
it was
so
Happiness Is, but yes, I love it. That was
I couldn't remember what one it was, and I was at work, so.
Yeah, it was like, I instantly recognized it. I'm like, oh god, it's the Happiness Is dance, I love it. So either, this is like a Coronan dance, which is like questionable because Lance is not from Corona.
Yeah.
Or they just have like the same moves, or the Lorbs just like inspired this kind of dancing. But I do love that little callback. Cap says that the Lorbs are great, but Eugene disagrees, saying that they treated them like pets. But Cap didn't have that problem because the Lorbs love his mustache. His mustache? Really? That's the reason? Well, look, it's not my fault my face is perfectly suited to a goatee.
Oh, so cute.
But I also love, like, Rapunzel let her follow up. Oh, I know. No one's making fun of your perfectly sculpted face. And I love it because, like, she's not kidding and she's not teasing him. She's, like, completely sincere in this sentence. And I'm like...
She's like, no, babe, it's okay. We know you're perfect. And I'm like, yeah, Rapunzel.
Defend your man.
Man, I love it, though, because it's just, like... It's so cute that she's not even teasing him, you know? She's like, oh, no, she loves it. Aw.
That's so cute.
moving on, Rapunzel asks the captain what he's really doing here. He left Corona months ago in search for them, but later received word that they had returned to Corona while Cassandra had made other arrangements. So I had a conversation with some people online today, mostly Anons. Actually, I think it might have been all Anons, so who knows. But in Rapunzel's return, they mentioned that he left with a group of guards. And obviously there are no guards here now. So my guess is that when he heard that Rapunzel had returned and what had happened to Cassandra, he sent the guards back to Corona because he's like, look, go take care of the princess. That's your actual job.
Yeah.
So now he's out, hunting whatnot stuff.
He yeeted himself out of the battalion.
He yeeted himself out.
Yep.
Rapunzel sympathizes with the captain, saying she understands how difficult this must be for him. But he says it hasn't been difficult, and that's the beauty of this island. He tells him he has someone he wants him to meet, and coming further into the Lord camp, they see little 4-year-old Cassandra. The one from the cottage in the memory. And you know what's odd? It occurs to me that Rapunzel and Eugene have never seen 4-year-old Cassandra. They've heard a story about 4-year-old Cassandra.
But I mean,
her hair is perfectly recognizable.
Yeah.
Though. I mean, it's not like.
Also, I think she says hi, daddy.
Yeah.
And they're both like, wee, 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 wee,
wee, woo, wee, woo. Shocked and concerned, Rapunzel and Eugene begin to question the captain, explaining that it may look and sound like her because she's like Canon Fitzherbert at 4 years old. What the heck? She's 4, so it can't be the real Cass. Rapunzel figures that this must be why Owl brought them here. We see little Cassandra building a tower, wee, woo, wee, woo, and Pascal creeps over to her. He smiles at him in like this really creepy like ghost girl way, not like Enchanted Girl. I mean like horror movie ghost child. And he shrieks and backs away in terror. Rapunzel asks Cap where little Cass came from, and he explains that at first he couldn't believe this either, but he realized that sometimes the universe hears your heart's desires and gives you a second chance. If that were true, we'd all be married to our own Eugenes by now.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true. It's true.
And I'm married.
Hey,
That's why I put
married.
sorry Neil in the notes.
He knows. He knows.
Oh, I know he knows, but I felt like I had to apologize to him anyway.
Nope.
As Cap and little Cass go to play with the Lorbs, Rapunzel and Eugene notice that she doesn't have a shadow, which means that she is some sort of illusion. A perfectly solid one, apparently, but she's still an illusion. Away from the party, Eugene and Rapunzel discuss who or what this little girl could actually be, and Rapunzel poses that while she doesn't know yet, they both know that this island is home to dangerous magic, and that they have to figure out where she came from before she hurts Cap or anyone else. Rapunzel sends Eugene and Owl off to investigate and try to figure out what kind of magic could be causing this and how to stop it. So I love this because she entrusts Eugene with the intellectual work, and not only does he not balk at it, he succeeds, And I'm just like, see, he's smart. Everybody who says Eugene's not smart, you're wrong. He's smart. Meanwhile,
respect my man again, people who think he's not smart.
he's totally smart.
I'll fight you.
Meanwhile, she and Pascal will keep an eye on little Cassandra to make sure the captain stays safe. The next morning, Rapunzel joins Cap and little Cass on their morning outing. Cap is happy to have her along, but Rapunzel is distracted, keeping a watchful eye on Cassandra. Soon, though, she disappears and returns a moment later, stalking towards the captain menacingly with something behind her back. Rapunzel freaking tackles little Cass!
Rapunzel throws hands with a 4-year-old.
I know, right? But when Cassandra shows her what she was holding, it was only a hairbrush. Captain clears his throat, clearly upset, and Rapunzel, still not the best liar, says that she thought she saw a big bee, but neither Cat nor little Cass are buying it. We cut to Eugene and Owl, who are in the Lorabi. Thank you, Ricky. As he put it, he doesn't usually point out when he wrote a joke for someone else's episode, but he had to point out that Lorabi is his idea.
It's like, I did that. Appreciate me. And I'm like, okay. Love your...
Yeah, so yes, honestly, thank you, Ricky. Lorabi is like right up my alley in jokes. That's fantastic.
I totally missed that the first time. I was more focused on, oh my gosh, it's giant Eugene.
It's giant
with the
Eugene
tiny
with
books.
Yep.
I was just focused on Eugene because it was like 11 o'clock and I was like, I'm tired. Hot man.
I'm tired. You're cute.
Yep, pretty much.
With Eugene reading through the tiny books to find where Little Miss most likely to eliminate all that our sleeves came from.
I love that. I'm also, but I'm a teeny bit sad because I'm like, oh, I wanted to be Little Miss most likely to murder us all in our sleep, not intimidate. Murder's just a fun word.
It is, but it's not a very Disney word, so I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. At least he said eliminate and not like get rid of.
Sure, that's true.
But he isn't finding anything. It's possible that he missed it though because the writing is very tiny. So we don't know if this was a legit homage or just a coincidence, but Kelsey did notice the scene is very reminiscent of an old giant Eugene comic that was made by Bangalore, who like also reblogged her post and added the comic bit where he's got the teeny tiny that he
That
can't
made
read
me
'cause
so
the writing's
happy.
tiny.
I was like, I'm so
It's
nostalgic.
so similar too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
So like homage or not,
It was
she's
amazing.
thrilled that
I
made it
mean-
into the episode and that people remember that she did that comic. So
I'm pretty sure we all know that they have to have had yeah, I don't know how to place that. Anyways, they had to look at fan art because how else would they have known that we all wanted Eugene in a guard uniform?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because there was a lot of fan art of that.
that sure was.
I mean, maybe they came to that conclusion on their own. But I like to think that they looked at the fan art and they were like, give it to the fans. And we're like, yeah.
That a lot of people who work on this show are fans of the movie and were part of the movie's fandom and didn't think they'd ever be working on a Tangled the series show. So they probably already know because they were there in the thick of it for like the longest time. So we cut back to Rapunzel, who is standing near the edge of a cliff with Captain a couple yards away. She sees little Cass running towards him and calls out, "No, don't you dare!" But as she says this, she sees little Cass is holding onto the string of a kite, which is now flying high. Trying to cover her tracks, she continues, "Start without me? I love kites! They're like Lantern's cousins, aren't they?" But again, Captain and Cass aren't convinced because she's a terrible liar, and I love that about her.
Such a bad liar.
She's such a bad liar. Back with Eugene and Owl, they're making some chalk rubbings on a large engraved stone. He isn't sure what the markings mean, but he hopes that Rapunzel will be able to figure it out. Just then, a little Lord comes by offering to help Eugene find his owner, thinking he is a lost Freinfloofer. He says that he has no owner, and Lorb says he is a stray Freinfloofer, making a whole horde of Lorbs appear chasing after Eugene. Is this a sign that I should grow a mustache? Owl nods. No. Owl, no. No.
No.
No.
No.
No.
No.
No.
I don't know how much clearer we have to make this.
No.
Don't ruin my man's face.
Right.
Right? He has the perfect amount of facial hair.
Perfect.
It suits his face perfectly.
Perfect.
Do not cover up the rest of it with a mustache.
No.
Does that mean that if Lance was there, they'd recognize him?
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And like him too because
And
he
like
has a
him, too.
mustache.
Got a mustache? Hiding from the Lorbs on an elevated vine, Eugene hears a muffled grunting coming from a nearby cave. Pushing back the vines, he finds something inside that shocks him. But we cut to little Cass on the beach digging a hole in the sand, which reveals a crab. Pascal grabs it with his tongue, upsetting the crab. As it chases, Pascal camouflages into a crab, which is like literally my favorite thing he's done in the entire series, and I don't know why. But I'm just like, that was so clever. I love it. He turns himself into a little crab, and he points the crab away from himself. With Pascal now by her side, Rapunzel wonders if maybe little Cass isn't dangerous, because even though it isn't her, she makes Cap happy, and if she is harmless, then why should he have to lose her again? With the sunset as her backdrop, Cap lifts little Cass up and promises that he will never let anyone hurt her, which is the exact same thing he said to her when he rescued her from Gothel's house in the first place.
Aww.
Later that evening, Cap carries a sleepy Cass back to the hut in the Lord village. After the captain wishes Rapunzel a good night, Eugene pops out from behind another hut, getting her attention. She begins to explain that maybe this isn't that bad, but Eugene cuts her off, telling her that she has to follow him right now.
He goes, papa, papa. It's so funny.
So cute. He's like, no, wait, I need you to shut up for a second. I have something important to tell you. I love you, but please shut up.
There's a lot of really like naturalistic dialogue in this episode. I really like it. Making their way back to the cave from earlier, Eugene leads her inside, revealing that he has found Alphonse. It turns out that Cap came to the island in search of a magical fountain that grants wishes. Alphonse tried to warn him not to use the fountain, but he locked him up in this cave because much like the other Lord magic, it's wicked. What the heck is with like this Lord wizard who like only makes spells that end up being evil in the end. Like, what is wrong with this guy? It gives you what you want first, but if you do not take your wish back to the fountain by the sunset of the 9th day, it will turn into your darkest nightmare. So, like, what it literally is a coin with a Lord picture on it, and you throw the coin into the fountain and make your wish, and if you fish the coin out of the fountain, that's taking your wish back. That's what that means. That's the literal translation of what's going on.
Easy peasy.
Because I was like, take your wish back, and they're like, there's a coin. I'm like, how convenient. With this knowledge in tow, as well as the knowledge that this is Cap's 9th day with little Cass, Rapunzel and Eugene hurry back to the Lord Village, hoping to talk some sense into Cap before something terrible happens. But he won't listen, because this is his only chance. He didn't stop looking for Cassandra after hearing that the other had returned to Corona. He kept looking, and he came face to face with her in the remains of the Path of Humanitas. He asked her why she has turned her back on Rapunzel, which of course upsets Cass greatly. She holds the black rock sword to his throat as she states that he knew how much was taken from her and who her mother was and never told her. I also really love that she starts out with an attack and the first thing she does is slice his sword into pieces. Mm-hmm. Just bang, 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 and it's gone.
She's like, bye.
Yep. He tries to reason with her, but she states that he was only doing what was best for him, and that this is what she's doing now for herself. Captain commands her to surrender, but she shouts never and slashes the edges of a stone doorway, trapping Cap inside the small room. He states to Rapunzel that the rage he saw in her was something he had never seen before and that she isn't herself anymore. He thinks that by taking care of little Cass now, he has another chance to make things right. As Cap ignores her pleas to make things right for them and everybody else, the sun sets, the ground rumbles, and they realize that they are too late. A bird flies past them and is then followed by many, many others. Turning around, they are revealed to be Bird Sandra! Yay! Bird! Yay, Cassandra the bird. The many menacing... Oh, and the best part is as they're turning around, it's like, hello, hello, hello.
It's so creepy.
And Eugene says, I love the delivery of, I'd know that bird anywhere. I'm like, yeah, Eugene, I'd know that bird anywhere too. The many menacing bird sounders begin to chase after Eugene and Rapunzel, and as they reach a clearing, armored Cassandra comes out of the brush, followed by guard Cassandra, handmaiden Cassandra, and just regular old Cass. More Cassandras appear, laughing evilly and holding weapons as they begin to surround the small group, including little kid but not 4-year-old Cassandra from
House of Yesterday's Tomorrow.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So many Cassandras. Eugene and Rapunzel go into battle mode, Eugene reminding her that none of these are the real Cass, because he's saying, kick her ass, baby, I'll hold your flower. This is so true. We get another awesome scene of Eugene sword fighting with multiple Cassandras who taunt him as they go, you're still here? I thought Raps would have dumped you by now. Haha, joke's on you, Cass. They get married. She isn't ever dumping him. New dream! Woo! Woo!
Yeah, I was like, haha, no.
Face,
she ain't dumping him.
But also, that moment has some of the best animation in the
it's
whole
so
episode.
good.
Eugene's jackets is animated so well in that scene. Holy cow! And his expressions and his hair, and it's just. I also really love how every time it shows how alert he is, because every time he locks blades with one cast, his eyes dart or his head turns, and he immediately turns to counter the one who's coming after him next, and he's just constantly aware of his surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's so great. So then Rapunzel's like, oh, hello, Cassandras. Cassandri? How would you like me to address you? Honey, no, honey. A bunch of handmaiden Cassandras grab Rapunzel, brushing her hair and trying to get her to wear shoes, but Rapunzel manages to get away. Also, her hair was down and they bound it back up. So that was actually a tactical thing if you think about it. They're like, oh, get her feet uncomfortable, take away her weapon,
I would love to know what Cass's reaction would be to this, when all is said and done and Rapunzel's telling her what happened. She's like, I'm sorry, what happened? There were how many of me?
Leaving the battlefield, Rapunzel goes to Cap's hut, which is being attacked by 2 Cassandras. Rapunzel runs to the back, pleading with him once more, but he isn't there. Instead, he's making a break for the hot air balloon, clutching little Cass. Rapunzel tries to stop him, tells him his feelings are real, but little Cass is not, and that the real Cass is still out there somewhere. She tells him he is not allowed to just forget about Cassandra and start over because family sticks together. But Cap, looking down at little Cass's squishy baby face, tells Rapunzel that this is his only chance and that he can do it right this time. The balloon begins to float away just as Eugene arrives, with an entire horde of Cassandras in pursuit. Rapunzel undoes her hair again and latches herself onto the balloon, leaving just enough hair behind for Eugene to grab on as well, narrowly escaping multiple Casses. As the captain sets little Cass down, she asks if they can start over now, and as he looks to the side, he notices for the first time that she has no shadow, and recoils in fear. Just as Rapunzel believes he has given up, he steers the balloon back towards the island, setting it down near the top of the island, by that unicorn rock, On their way, Eugene remarks that he's starting to miss the real Cass. I mean, her charm, her wit, the fact that there's only one of her. Cap apologizes to Rapunzel and says that he hasn't failed Cassandra yet. As he rushes towards the fountain with little Cass, the horde of Casses arrive, with Cassandra leading the charge, but thankfully not the real one, and they attack once more. At the fountain, little Cassandra is sad and scared because she's afraid her dad is leaving her, but he says that he will never leave her, the real her, and he goes to grab the coin. She pleads with him to stay. Back outside, Rapunzel and the fake Moon Sandra go head-to-head, giving us this beautiful shot of them colliding mid-air before the moon with all these sparklies, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as Rapunzel recovers, Eugene comes to her side, and they're swarmed by Cassandras. Just as all hope seems lost, the Cassandras get Thanos away, and Cap walks out from the fountain cave, throwing the Lord coin into the ground as he declares, "Let's go get my daughter back." Which is like, "Aw, Captain! You're great, Cap!
Growth.
You're great." It's actually really great to see him get so much development.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we saw him, effing cheerful. We have never seen this man this cheerful.
I know.
Preparing to leave, Cap apologizes to Alphonse, but the Lord tells him that that it's all right, and that this island just has that effect on frying floofers. As the balloon begins to rise, Rapunzel promises Cap that they'll find Cass. With the Lorbs waving goodbye to them, they sail away back towards Corona. Now, at the Great Tree, which is still wrecked beyond all compare, Cassandra and the little blue girl are searching in the incantation room, but everything has been destroyed. Little Blue tells Cassandra that the incantations were their only hope of unlocking the power of the Moonstone, aside from the Mantis Scroll, but that was destroyed millennia ago. Except it wasn't. We know this. Cass knows this. With this realization, Cass states that their next stop is Corona, because next is the midseason!
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Which, I don't know if y'all follow Twitter at all, but Tom Caulfield has been teasing us mercilessly for days. Today, he just randomly posts this picture of reverse incantation Rapunzel with a random comment, "Remember when this happened?" And it's like, Tom! What the heck, Tom? So, yeah. So
He knows what he's doing.
He does know what he's doing.
He thinks it's hilarious. He said that he used to go into the studio and be like, "All right, how can we hurt the fandom today?" He knows exactly what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. So, we have 3 new episode descriptions, and before anybody says anything or thinks anything, these have been confirmed not only by crew, but they are now up on the TV Passport page. Well, 2 of them are, and since 2 of them are, we can trust that the 3rd one's accurate also. We got these off of Google in the first place unsourced, but basically they're sourced and reliable now. These are what's going on. A Tale of Two Sisters. Rapunzel and Cassandra investigate mysterious stories of Gothel's ghost haunting Cass's childhood home. Okay, so first of all, so it's about Rapunzel and Cassandra. I'm not surprised about that.
Yeah.
Gothel's ghost, I'm like, okay.
I just want her to go
be
away.
A green ghost? Is she gonna
be? See, if she's a green ghost, I might accept that. Or even if she's not a green ghost, because at least ghosts are a thing that exists in the Tangled universe.
Yeah.
So maybe, who knows?
I don't know.
And you know what? There's still a chance that the 2 sisters in reference are not actually Rapunzel and Cassandra.
Yeah.
That are going to be related to, Gothel in some way or backstory in some way, and it's just going to be stuff that we get. But that's all we've got. We have no idea what happens. We have no idea, obviously, I doubt that they're going to do this together. Mm-hmm. I get the impression that they're both going to hear that this is a thing, and they're both going to go there independently, and the other will be there. So we're going to get some kind of a confrontation, and possibly the very beginning of Cass's redemption.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So, Flynn Poster. Eugene must track down and confront a thief who has stolen his former identity, Flynn Rider.
It's Bastion, isn't it? It better be Bastion. I swear to God, if it's Dwayne, I'm gonna kill somebody.
Oh no!
I swear to God, I will actually kill someone.
It occurred to me that it could be Dwayne.
Yeah, I had that thought today as I was
to be
reading
fair,
the description and putting it in here, and I was like,
To be fair, Dwayne is not voiced by Chris Diamantopoulos.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
is true. It is gonna be it's a new person.
Character.
Dwayne too.
It's Bastion. If it's not Bastion, I'm rioting. No one will get hurt in my riot. I'll just be rioting, screaming at Ricky and Tom and being like, "You fools!"
Be marching up and down the streets of your home and just be like, "Run, run, run!" He'll be like, "No problem."
Scrappy the Lappy. We think it's really crappy. That's my only. That's the only chant I can do. It's the only one. But it's Bastion. It's gonna be Bastion. I'm so excited for Bastion. Oh my God!
You know what? And regardless, I am excited to have a Eugene-centric episode,
Yes.
like right towards the end. So, yeah. So, once a handmaiden, disguised in a magical cloak, Cassandra sneaks into Corona with the intention of making amends with Rapunzel. I like how it says the intention of making amends with Rapunzel. Like, we don't know how this is gonna go. I hope that Rapunzel is like mad at her and it's just like, you know what, you don't get to just come in here and apologize and think that makes everything okay.
Is Cass gonna show up like Zuko? Hey there, Zuko here. Out of nowhere.
I had somebody send me an ask like that, saying that they hope it's gonna be just as awkward as Zuko coming to apologize.
Please. So
just
funny.
take a bite of that big silver sandwich.
Yep.
And we do not yet have an episode description for Plus de Tanvu, but guys, I have a suggestion. I had this idea right before we started recording the podcast. In fact, I ran over the Tumblr and typed it up because things inevitably get posted while we're recording the podcast. So we don't have a description for Plus de Tanvu, and it's the only one we don't have a description for. So maybe we shouldn't go looking for it because, you know, chances are good, because it's a 3-part episode, that we'll have at least one spoiler in the description, and it might be a big one, who knows? So, like, maybe we shouldn't try to find it. And if you want to know, go ahead and look for it, but don't share it. Or if you want to share it so that other people can find it, share a link, but not a screen cap. Just, let's try to keep this description out of the fandom so that as many people can go in blind as possible, because I think that would actually be a super swell way to finish the series, having very little idea of what's actually going to happen and have nothing but speculation going on. I know I, for one, am not going to be looking for it. If it comes up, I'm not going to, like, follow the links. So y'all better not be sending me asks with spoilers in them, because that'll make me mad. I'm going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't read the description. So, yeah, no. But, so that's my idea. And if you like the idea, suggest it to other people. If you see my idea on Tumblr, then reblog it. Just, like, I kind of like this idea. Let's try to not know what's going to happen in the finale. That's the idea. So, yeah. That about sums it up for this week, guys. Okay, but so next week is the mid-season, and so of course, being a double episode, Tangled Talk is going to be extra long. Plus, we've got some guests on next time, so that'll be fun too. Yep. So yeah, all things considered, we're rocking and we're rolling, and this is going to be a fun way to end this whole thing, and we're getting closer to the end. And I swear to God, every episode that airs, my very first thought is, now there's only X number of episodes left. And I hate having that thought, but that's the thought I keep having. So right now I'm like, now we only have 6 episodes left. After Sunday, we'd be like, now we only have 5 episodes left. So like, yeah. And I tell you what, guys, the opening theme makes me tear up now. It didn't used to, but it does now. Because every time it starts, I'm like, it's almost over. And so, yeah. So we're going to be like a hot mess when this whole thing ends.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be, yeah. Anyway, so we love you guys. I know we don't say that often enough, but we actually do. And we'll talk about that more later. We will honestly talk more later about how much we love you guys. But this is it for now. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you again next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.